Welcome to the Built to Scale series Outside Marketing, bringing you quick, actionable episodes to help move your business forward. Here's your host, Craig Severinsen.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 22 of Outside Marketing, the show where we ask the question, how do you build a thriving business without sacrificing your personal life? I, of course, am Craig Severinsen, and today we're going to be talking about how to win guests by using the tactic of guesting on other people's podcasts. And this is a fantastic method to not only attract clients, but to grow your email list, to grow your brand, and I'm excited to dive into it. As always, if you are enjoying this content, go check out builttoscalehq.com. There you can check out the full podcast, the Built to Scale podcast, as well as get more training and support, and even find out how you can work with me to grow your business faster than you think possible. Okay, so let's talk about guesting on other people's podcasts. And I think that this is one of those tactics that gets underestimated a lot. And really what I'm getting at here is what you want to do is leverage the power of consistently getting in front of smaller audiences. I think when we think of getting on a podcast or even hosting our own podcast, we want these huge audiences, a bunch of people, right? Like it would be great and it would be fantastic if your podcast got 1 million downloads a day, or if you got to be a regular guest on like Entrepreneur on Fire or some other, top business podcast. That would be fantastic. But the truth is that most people won't get those types of results, right? Like unless you've got the money to spend, you got to apply and pay to be an Entrepreneur on Fire these days, and I'm just using that as an example. It could be any big podcast, right? Like most people won't be on those stages very, very often. So how do you leverage podcast guessing in a way where it's effective from the very beginning? And that is getting in front of smaller audiences consistently, right? So this goes back to the idea that I'm always talking about creating a system and thinking about your business in terms of systems. So where would podcast guesting fit in my book? I would probably place it inside your visibility system. There's the 6 systems of a business that I teach. There's 2 that this could possibly go into, either your visibility system or your lead gen system. Because it's primarily brand builder and email list building, I'm going to put it in visibility. But the idea here is, imagine, if you would, like, let's get specific. If you were to go to networking events and speak, okay, let's use networking events as an example because it's easier to visualize this. If you were to go speak at a networking event and there's like 10 people at each event you go to, but you start speaking at an event every single week, suddenly those little events of like 10 people turn into 40 people a month, and that starts building momentum. You start growing your email list consistently. You start getting clients consistently. You get better at presenting the same material to these people, right? It gets more and more and more effective. So the same thing is true of your podcasting, right? If you can be a fantastic guest and present your ideas in a way that is compelling, you're going to attract your ideal clients to your email list. You're going to attract them to explore your services, and you're going to get more clients. And that's what it's all about, right? So this is why it's on my mind, is because yesterday I was listening to a podcast and I dubbed the guest that was on the show the Queen of Explanabrags, because the entire episode of this show that I was listening to was just them talking about how awesome they were. And I was like, every single thing they said drove me crazy because I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, stop bragging backhandedly about what you do and just tell us the answer to the question. And I was so frustrated, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is something that we could probably talk about, is how do you be a good guest and avoid that explanabrag syndrome, right? And explanabrag, if you don't know what that is, I think it was Community where that phrase came from, where I heard it. And it's like, it's self-explanatory, right? Like, you're explaining something, but you're also bragging about what you've done, right? So it's annoying, it's frustrating, like, you want to avoid it. Like, you can brag a little bit about yourself, right? But like, not every single thing has to relate back to something that you've accomplished or something that you're doing, right? Instead of that, what you want to do is teach, and attract and win clients by being really generous with the information and expertise that you have, right? By teaching more, you will turn your marketing from an outbound concept into an inbound concept. Clients will start coming to you because you're teaching rather than chasing, right? Nobody wants to do business with somebody who's explanabragging everything. Everyone wants to do business with the person who is teaching and is viewed as the expert on their subject, right? So you got to teach, 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 teach. Now, always when we talk about this, the question comes up, I don't want to give away the farm. I don't want them to feel like they can do it themselves. Well, here's the thing. I've got two answers to that. Number one is that in every audience there are people who are never going to buy from you, and their whole point is to show up, get the three things, and then go try it themselves. Those people are never going to buy from you anyways. They're not. And so by teaching and giving away the farm, you're whetting the appetite of the people who understand that it's better to invest in an expert, that it's better to save their time focusing on the things they're best at and allow you to focus on the things that you're best at by paying you to implement in their business. You're whetting their appetite. You're showing them that you are the expert in their business, and you're actually making it more appealing to them that they're going to want to work with you. So that's number one. Number two is that, remember, value is created in implementation and taking action. So what you need to focus on every time you teach is, how do I inspire? How do I motivate? How do I invite somebody to implement, to take action and get results? Because that is where the value is made. That is where you get value. So a lot of your teaching, and this is a mindset shift, this can be tough, needs to be focused around why what you're teaching is important, what it will do for them once they implement it, and showing them the vision and pathway of what it's like to implement whatever it is you're teaching, because that is the most important part for get them to take action. So it's not really about the how-to stuff, right? It's not really about you sitting down, okay, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three. That is for, if you are teaching or coaching or consulting, that's for after they purchase, where you show them the step-by-step stuff. Or if you are implementing, you're selling a done for you service, that's for you to know and take those steps, right? You don't need to focus on the how to in your podcast interviews or in your content in general. What you need to focus on is why it's important, what it will do for your business, and maybe some examples of implementing it, so that people feel inspired and motivated to take action, because that's what they need. That is what they need to go implement, to hire you and start getting the results that are going to change their life and their business, right? So if you have that mindset and you focus mostly on those things, you're never going to teach too much. You're never going to give too much away, right? Is it possible to teach too much? Yes. If you give them the step-by-steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and they walk away going, man, that's easy, I could do that in my sleep, I'm just going to go do it, then yeah, that's over teaching, right? But you've got to make sure you're doing a service to your clients and saying, this is more complicated than it looks. So let's talk about why you want to do it in the first place. And let's talk about what you get when you do it, and focus and live right there, right? So attraction through education. And then, so that was my first experience in the morning. And then later in the day, I was teaching somebody, I was doing some like media training, right? Like I have a client who is going to be in the media doing some interviews, and we were going over like, how do you act in the interview? And he looked at me and he said, this is the standard uniform for people who are trying to accomplish what I'm accomplishing. And he described this dress that just was not him at all. Like it was a way of dressing that, yeah, definitely appeals to a certain audience, but was not him at all. And it reminded me. So there's two things that I told him. So nowadays, when you go do a podcast, right, it's likely that it's going to be recorded. It's likely that you're going to be on camera. You might even it might go on YouTube, it might go on their website, but it's likely you're going to be on camera. So how do you dress is a question that I think comes up, and that's why we're talking about this and why this story I think is really applicable. There was two things I told him. Number one, I said, it's more important to be authentic than it is to dress or appeal a certain way, because your marketing, it's really about you as a person and you as a culture in your business, right? And the moment you start trying to project what you think your clients want to see, but is not a true representation of you and your business, your marketing is going to fall apart. That's being a phony, right? So like authenticity is a lot more important than appearing or trying to appear the way you think people want you to look, right? So be aggressively you, right? I always joke with my clients. That's a hashtag that we use. Hashtag be aggressively you. So be aggressively you. And the other thing that I told him was, you know what? Along with being you, because there's different versions, maybe is the wrong word, but there's different versions of you, right? Different levels, different layers, right? So along with being aggressively you have to think about what is the message that I'm trying to communicate to my ideal clients, and how do I put that as my best foot forward? So it's a balance here of being, yes, 100% you and 100% authentic, but also understanding that the way you dress and the way you look puts a certain message out to your audience. And this got hammered home for me back when I was still working in the corporate world. I was working for a nonprofit, and it was in Utah, and we went to the Utah State Capitol. And on the, we were there for training and for like meet and greet with like some state senators and stuff like that. We were in the nonprofit space, so that's what we were doing. And we're up there, and there's these oil paintings of all the past governors on the wall, and they're all the same. They're all in suits and really serious and standing there, and it's like, this really stoic pose. And then you get to Governor Huntsman, right? And Governor Huntsman is, instead of sitting, he's standing. Instead of a suit, he's just in a white shirt and tie. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and he's leaning back against a desk. And this is an oil painting. So this is a deliberate choice by this man to give a different message. And if you think about it, what message is he giving with the sleeves rolled up, the suit coat off, compared to his predecessors? It's a hands-on, I'm going to get stuff done, I'm going to work type of message that you're putting out there, right? So that was where I really learned this lesson of what you're wearing does give a message. Now, I'm not telling you that you've got to wear suits and ties or fancy dresses or tuxedos or whatever. If you want to wear jean shorts, I was going to say jeans or shorts, but jean shorts too. You want to wear jean shorts and a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever it is, 100% fine, as long as you understand that you're putting out a message and you are embracing that message, and it's the one that you want out in the marketplace, right? So that's what I got on being a good podcast guest today. Teach. Don't do the explanable brag, just teach the lesson. And then when it comes to dressing and appearing on camera, be authentically you and balance that with understanding what is the message I'm putting out in the marketplace with how I'm showing up. Burrell, greetings from Beverly Hills. Well, great. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. I'm in St. Louis, so I'm kind of far away from you. It's probably nice and sunny and warm where you're at. Here, it's still pretty cold, but thank you so much for watching live. Guys, if you want to watch live, you're watching this on the podcast later, every morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Time on LinkedIn. This is a live show, so feel free to tune in. Check out Built to Scale HQ, guys, if you want to listen to the full podcast instead of just these short little episodes. I am going to go and finish up my exercise routine. So really good to see you. Until next time, take some fast focus, imperfect action. I believe in you. I got your back. We'll talk soon. See ya.
Thanks for joining us. To check out all the Built to Scale episodes and to see how Craig can help you in your business, go to builttoscalehq.com.